Today we will discuss about modern media for development communication. And when we say modern media, it means the media we developed for mass communication. It starts with basically newspaper. You may not consider modern media because newspaper was part of our media from very early age. As we discussed about media, people basically know about the history of newspaper. They know that from very early times, people used to communicate through written words. So that's why when we talk about modern media, it includes television, it includes radio, it includes new media. So these media are called modern media. So today we will discuss about that how modern media can be used for development communication. Because nowadays there is a debate that TV cannot do development communication. Even you may also experience on new media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, that people don't talk about development related thing. It's all about politics. It's all about personal communication. It may be group communication. But people don't talk much about development communication. People don't talk much about issues of development and the problems of the society. So that's why it is very important to discuss that whether we can use modern media for development communication or not. Right. This presentation introduces you to the two of the landmark projects of development communication using modern media. Right. And these two examples are important to understand, and every student who is in this course, development communication, must know about these two projects. Because these two projects suggested that yes, modern media can be effectively used for development communication. First project was SITE. The full form of SITE is Satellite Instructional Television Experiment. And this project was the world's first techno-social experiment in 1975. We will discuss it in detail, that how it worked and what was the purpose of SITE and how government initiated this project. And second project was Kheda Communication Project. Kheda is a district of Gujarat, and Kheda is very important, and this district was always important even during national movement also. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel used to belong to Kheda district, and various movements were started at Kheda. Even Gandhi's first three successful Satyagraha movement he undertook, and one was initiated in Kheda. So Kheda is very important district, and that's why the second project is Kheda Communication Project. And this was probably the first narrowcasting project for development communication using television. Right? Narrowcasting means that you are focusing on a small group of people and even trying to provide them necessary information related to development communication. So let us start with first project, that was SITE. SITE project was launched in India in 1975. So SITE was conducted in 2,330 villages scattered in 20 districts and in 6 states of India. And this is important to remember that SITE program was launched in how many states? And these were the 6 states: Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, and Rajasthan. And this project was jointly designed by NASA and ISRO, right? And the overall, why this program was launched, the idea was to provide informational program to rural people, right? And the main objective of the program was to educate the poor people of India through satellite broadcasting, and also to help India gain technical experience in the field of satellite communication, right? So you may understand that this was the first time in the history of Indian broadcasting that satellite broadcasting started in India in 1975, and that was with the help of NASA. That is, that this is a space agency of America. So NASA and ISRO came together, and not only these two organizations, UNDP was also part of this overall project, United Nations Development Project. And the idea was to see whether we can use this modern, media for developmental purpose or not. Because when you will go to the history of all these mediums, you will find from the early age and from the early times, the idea was to how to use different mediums for developmental purpose. It may be social development, it may be economic development, government may use these mediums for projecting governmental programs. So whole purpose was to how to use these mediums for development purpose. So whenever we find that yes, there is an improvement in technology, satellite was first introduced, satellite was launched, and scientists were trying to, technocrats were trying to see that whether we can use these satellites for developmental purpose or not. So that's why this experimental project was very important for India, right? The experiment ran for 1 year, that is from 1st August 1975 to 31st July 1976, right? And it covered more than 2,500 villages in 6 Indian states, as you know, that there were 6 states, and television programs were produced by AIR and telecasted by NASA satellite ATS-6. So ATS-6 was the satellite name, and NASA fixed that satellite for this 1 year period on India, and from that satellite broadcasting was done, and informational program was broadcasted on television sets provided to the villagers. So television sets were provided to all these villages. Battery sets were provided where if there was no electricity, so battery was also provided so that they can watch television for the fixed time when this program will be broadcasted, right? So the project was supported by various international agencies such as the UNDP, UNESCO, UNICEF, ITU, so several other organizations, agencies came together to see that whether we can use this modern media or not, right? How India was selected, this is also very interesting to know. May it not be very important, but you must know that how India was selected. Actually, NASA selected 3 countries, India, China, and Brazil, right? Because the whole idea was they wanted the country where majority of the population should be rural population, right? So they shortlisted these 3 countries where majority of the population were rural: China, Brazil, and India. But this was the time, 1975, you know that this was the time when India was also trying to launch its space research under the leadership of Vikram Sarabhai. So India was also very much interested in space research at that time. And India was interested in the role of satellite for communication purposes. So NASA was also interested in India for some technical reasons, because NASA sought to field test the direct broadcast of television program to terrestrial receivers by satellite. Even they would pick China also, but at that time China was declared as communist states. So being a capitalist state, America declined to go to China. Even Brazil was not selected because Brazil population is very much concentrated in urban centers only. There are rural areas, but the population concentration in urban centers only. So the whole idea to provide informational content to rural population could not be done in Brazil. So that's why, due to all these reasons, India was selected. Right. So these are certain objectives of site. According to NASA's point of view, they were trying to gain experience in development, testing, and management of satellite-based instructional television system. So they wanted to see that whether we can to develop, to test, to manage how satellite communication can be done for development purposes. And second objective was to demonstrate the potential value of satellite technology in the rapid development of effective mass communication in developing countries. So they were also very much interested in demonstration of satellite communication technology. And as we know that there is always a hidden business motives for developed nations when they provide certain technology to developing nations. So they were trying to demonstrate this satellite-based technology so that developing countries like India got interested in buying those technology for their own country, right? So this was the whole purpose. These two was the main objectives of site according to NASA's point of view. India's point of view, why India was very much interested. So there were three objectives for India. First, primary objective was to educate people about issues related to family planning, agricultural practices, and national integration. So at that time, 1975, we got independence in 1947. And this was a very few years, 25 years we have since independence. And that's why we were very much interested in using these new technologies for educating people. Secondary objective was to impart general school and adult education, train teachers, improve other occupational skills, and to improve general health and hygiene through satellite broadcasting. Right. So first education, second is giving instruction to the population so that they may improve their general health, and they may try to accept to adopt a hygiene based lifestyle. Right. So this was the secondary objective of India. And there was another technical objective also. India was also trying to gain experience in all technical aspects of the system, including broadcast, reception facility, interior program material, so that they may, from this experience, they may start their own program. They may use satellite-based communication system when this experiment get over. And this happened when in 1976, when NASA stopped this experiment, and after 1 year, they decided to move away, and they went to Sri Lanka, and they started the same experiment in Sri Lanka. Though India requested America to stay for more time, but NASA rejected that request because they had done their work, because they got they fulfilled all their objectives. And second objective, they demonstrated to India that how they can use this technology. And if you are interested, they stopped this experiment, and if you're interested, you can buy technologies from America. So that's why they moved away, and then India started its own space research after 1975. Right. So these were three objectives of India. So what was the site program? All India Radio had the main responsibility for program generation with government's consultation. So AIR at that time, Doordarshan was also under AIR, All India Radio. So All India Radio was given the responsibility of generating programs. So there were two types of programs. First was education television, and second was instruction television. Education television means that educating children, educating school children, educating teachers, training teachers. So all these kind of programs were broadcasted, and those kind of programs were called as educational television. And instruction television related to hygiene, related to general health, related to behavioral change. So all these kind of programs were called instructional television, right? So these were the two types of programs which were broadcasted through site. So ETV programs were meant for school children, as I told you, and mainly focused on interesting and creative educational programs, right? So how to make education creative, how to make education interesting through television-based programs. So this was related to this, and these programs telecasted for 1.5 hours in school time. So during school time, you may say that 90 minutes of program were broadcasted, and during holidays, the time was given for programs related to teachers training. So because school times, working days, there were no program for teachers, and in holidays there were programs related to teachers training, so which was aimed to train more than 1 lakh primary teachers. So India was trying to train 1 lakh primary teachers, and they were trying to train teachers that how they can be more creative in imparting knowledge to these students, right? So this was the whole purpose, and ET program ran accordingly. IT programs were meant for adult rural population who were illiterate, right? And these programs were broadcasted for 2.5 hours during evening time, because evening time when farmers go to their fields, they come back, everybody at home. So at that time, for 2.5 hours, IT programs were broadcasted. These programs covered health, hygiene, family planning, nutrition, family planning, it is repeat. So improved practices in agriculture and events of national importance. So all these kind of programs were provided to the rural population so that they may, start living a good lifestyle, right? So these kind of two programs were broadcasted on Indian television, which were distributed among villagers of 3,300 villages, right? So side program, now let us evaluate that how side program was a very successful program. This experiment had huge success, right? Especially India was interested in continuing this program, as I told you, but NASA had their own routine, so they moved away. But as it was experimental, so it ended on predefined date, that was 31st July 1936. But through this, India came to know the importance of satellite broadcast. This was the main thing which India learned, and this knowledge came fruitful in 1982 when India launched its first communication satellite, INSAT 1A. So communication satellite of India was INSAT 1A, which was launched in 1982. And how it happened? Because in 1975, we learned that how satellite communication can be used. We gained technical knowledge, we gained program production related knowledge, and that's why this is very important related to site program. So 1982 was the year, it was a turning point. It is considered as turning point year for Indian television. So in this year, India launched its first communication satellite, that was INSAT 1A. TV transmission began in Andhra and Odisha with the help of the satellite. So now television broadcasting, the area of television broadcasting was expanded. This was the year when first time live telecast of Indian Prime Minister's speech from Red Fort happened, right? And beginning of color TV transmission, this also started in 1982, and live telecast of 9th Asian Games. So as you may understand that how this site experiment kick-started the whole television-related experiments in India, and even adoption of various other technologies, how to expand the reach of television. All this happened only because we experienced technical knowledge and from site, and we experienced that how this facility can be used for developmental purposes, right? So this was the whole idea of site. Now, second project, which is also important, that was Kheda Communication Project, right? And Kheda Communication Project was initiated as part of Satellite Instructional Television Experiment. It was also started during the same time, 1975 to 76, but it was run for longer periods. So this KCP program was again with the help of UNDP. UNDP provided one low power transmitter, and which was installed at Pease. Pease is a village in Kheda where they installed that transmitter, and this transmitter was to cover the entire district of Kheda. Now Kheda district is divided into two, that is Kheda and Anand. So at that time Kheda was one district. So I mean, they installed a transmitter that was in village P's, and after that it started broadcasting programs. So KCP had about 600 community sets, right, installed in Kheda villages. The responsibility of producing development-oriented programs was that of the ISRO. So here, All Radio was not developing the program. Here, ISRO was directly, developing the program. So KCP transmission of the local program started in 1975, along with site, and continued until 1989. So this was for a longer period of time, not only for 1 year, but it started in 1975 and ran till 1989. So programs were based on hardcore areas of development, right? Programs, agriculture, health, animal husbandry, as well as on social issues like untouchability, women status, children program. So these were programs which were related to, development, hardcore area of development, and these kind of programs were broadcasted through television sets. Most of the programming effort followed was in the regular and continuous story on the same issue or series mode. So this the first time you can say that you may say that serial kind of thing started in Kheda project only, right? I mean, they what was the mode of programming? They if they used to pick one program, they used to target on that issue regularly, right? Regular and continuous storytelling related to one issue only, so that regularly, if you keep saying one thing regularly and continuously, the chances of people getting changed is more, right? And second is series mode. Series mode means that you pick one issue and you make a serial kind of thing, and you may have 10-15 episodes of the same serial, and that too was related to this hardcore area of development. So focus on the what was the focus area of KCP, right? Focus was on the oppression and bondages in the present social and economic system. So they tried to put focus on that, how to make people understand that this oppression and bondage system in social bondages, or it may be economic bondages or economic oppression. This is not good for the development, right? Second focus area was mobilize the community and the individual himself to break away from these bondages. So first, you may understand that these bondages are not good, and second focus was that how to break away from these bondages. Third was promote self-reliance among the individuals and the community. Fourth is involving a reduction in apathy, independence on God or others. In India, I always say that Indian society is fatalistic society. If something wrong happens, people start saying that, oh, it is God wish. No, this kind of apathy should change. We should try to change our lives. God will not come to help you if you are not helping yourself. This is what, I heard in a movie, Dashrath Manji. He said that God may be waiting for you to do something, right? So, that's why this was also a focus area, that how to make people understand that no, you should not be very much rely on you should not rely on God only. You should start doing your own work to change your lives, right? Implying improvising and an optimal use of local resources. So how to use local resources for development, and necessitating a cooperative spirit and willingness to risk, right? So cooperative kind of things should start. A village should come up with a cooperative structure, right? So this was also a focus area, and willingness to risk. People should be willing to take risks. Because some other area of KCP were educate the community, particularly the deprived, about their duties and rights, including minimum wage, because you may find that in rural areas, people even don't know about their duties or rights, and that's why sometimes they are exploited by some businessman or some other people. So that's why this was also a focus point of KCP, that how to provide, how to educate the community related to their duties and rights. Right, and another focus area was provide utility programs. Utility program means the thing which are useful for them. For example, agriculture related programs, animal husbandry, fisheries. So all which are related to their utility. These kind of programs were also broadcasted. Broaden the horizon of the viewer by showing them persons, places, and events outside their immediate environment. So this is also an important task for media, that how to provide exposure to the audience. I mean, so many times people don't know what is happening all around the world, and this is the problem. I mean, if you don't know what is happening all around the world, you remain backward, and you don't understand that how backward you are. And that's why, I mean, media should provide the information about what is happening all around, and that will certainly broaden the horizon of the viewers, and they will start thinking accordingly, right? And in today's the concept of global village is here. So in today's era, it is more important that we should know about the whole world. So, I mean, this is also an important focus area. Uh, then another area was that inculcate a scientific temper among the younger generation. The scientific temperament, scientific temperament means that we must think rationally. We should not follow in conservative ideas. Whatever we believe, that should be based on logic and rationality. So this is called scientific temperament. And in India, you will find that people don't have, and it is not related to education. So many times you will find that educated people may have less scientific temperament, and non-educated people may have more scientific temperament. So the scientific temperament has nothing to do with education. It is basically your wisdom, right? If you are wisdomful, then certainly you will believe in scientific temperament. It means that you should not believe in non-rational thing, irrational thing, illogical thing. Should not have belief on all those things. So this was also a focus area, that how to inculcate a scientific temperament among the younger generation. A regular system of feedback was part of the total communication process, right? So whole communication process was designed in a way where feedback was part of the communication process. Occasional summative social evaluations were carried out to assess and determine the impact of specific television series or programs and overall impact of television. So this was also done, because what happened actually in this Kheda Communication Project, that people used to take feedback from the audiences, and those feedbacks were shared by the producers of the series or programs, and accordingly they used to change the program as per the need and requirement of the audience. And this is how it was working. So, and this kind of evolution was also carried out to assess the impact of these television series, right? So this was the whole process, that feedback, audience need, audience requirement, their need, their want. So this was a part of whole communication process. So now evaluating Kheda Communication Project, local television media can act. What we learned from this project, that first thing was that local television media can act as an effective channel of two-way communication, right? It means local television media will be more effective, because that will be based on local language, that will be based on local issues. Program will be made on local issues. Solutions will be given as per the local requirement and local need. It will be related to their local culture. So obviously, it was found that local television media, if we develop this kind of media, so local television media will be more effective, right? The involvement of the audience increases when medium deals with issues of immediate concern. This we learned from KCP. That audience will involve only when you will deal with issues of immediate concern. if immediate concern is that less rainfall, then you should make programs related to less rainfall. You should not talk about the issues which will, come later on. After 6 months or after 1 year, they will face such kind of problems, but they will not be interested in listening to those programs. They will be only interested in listening those programs which are based on immediate concern. So this is what we learned. Communication research can help in building a system sensitive to the audience need. So communication research is very much important thing, because through this research only you will be able to know about their issues, their needs, their requirement, their culture, and accordingly you will create your media messages, you will pick your medium. So communication research is very important while using modern media for development communication. Organizing the community viewing situation is not easy. However, community viewing appears to work with homogeneous group. This is one of the, learning experience through KCP, that if you go to village and you try to organize a community viewing program, community viewing setup, then it will be very difficult, because the whole nation is divided into different strata, different caste system is there. So if you want to organize a community viewing system, then it is not easy. So this we learned, and we also learned that if you want to go for this community viewing, then homogeneous group may be identified. It means caste based groups you can make, gender based group you can create. So this may help. In 1985, the Khera Communication Project received the IPDC UNESCO Prize for Rural Communication. This is the one of the, recognition given by UN. So in this way, we can say that Khera Communication Project was a success, and we learned a lot more things related to the usage of modern media for development communication. So to conclude here, modern media can be used for development communication. We learned from these two examples. Site and KCP proved that TV has a great impact on audience, right? And it is up to us. It is up to our media personals that how they use TV for development communication purpose. Based on the experiences of these two programs, projects like GramSat, JDCP, Jhabua Development Communication Project, these types of programs were also launched in India. Now, I would suggest to people to go and read something about GramSat and JDCP, Jhabua Development Project, and we may discuss about these things later on, right? So that's all for today. Thank you.